Both coasts feeling those dangerous temperatures, and Ginger's going to start us off tracking that and the severe summer storms that are on the move.
That's the thing, is this type of heat and humidity, the storms are inevitable, but they became severe. Nearly 100 severe reports, 2 reported tornadoes in Illinois, and this damage out of Ransom, Illinois. This was a lot of gusts, were reportedly 60 to 75 miles per hour in parts of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio last night, and you can see that damage. There was actually a train that was tipped over. St. Joseph, Michigan, the shelf cloud, the winds kicking. That's the type of damaging wind threat that we have again today. One little area in South Dakota to Iowa, but this area from Chicago and Indianapolis through Columbus and Cincinnati to Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, even Scranton, Pennsylvania today, level 2 out of 5 for severe storms. So we're going to roll those through at different times of day. Have 2 ways of getting warnings because it's that type of heat and humidity that's been hanging out here, and we're going to keep it. We've got the heat advisories still through tonight in New York City, coastal Connecticut, back into the Hudson Valley, parts of Long Island. That means that the heat is still to that dangerous level, and it has been cumulative over the last 5 days or so. But we are going to break it. Even though these numbers don't look that much lower, the humidity is going to drop. So if you want cooler air, that comes late weekend into early next week. But the heat is building back here in parts of the west, and we're getting a little bit of a break out where the fires are. I'll have a full fire forecast coming up, Robin.
But Ginger, we're going to talk about that wildfire emergency that's out west. Nearly 100 uncontained fires burning this morning. The smoke and heat creating unsafe air to breathe throughout that region. Kana Whitworth joins us now from the fire zone in Burbank, California. Good morning to you, Kana.
Yeah, Robin, good morning. So look, we have more than 30,000 firefighters right now battling nearly 100 wildfires amid this stifling and deadly heat wave. And here in California, authorities are investigating. They think perhaps it was a car crash that started this fire. And you can see the remnants here, this broken and melted fire hose. They say that this fire raced up that hill almost instantly.
This morning, a wildfire emergency. Nearly 100 large fires burning nationwide, scorching more than 3 million acres as exhausted firefighters race to contain the flames.
Oh, good God, I can feel the heat.
Most of them in the west, nearly 50 in Oregon and Washington alone, while evacuations are being ordered near Reno, Nevada, as the bug fire torched more than 15,000 acres over the weekend. Los Angeles County battling several brush fires. Authorities investigating a possible car crash as the cause of the Walnut Fire in Burbank. All that's left, this incinerated car. The flames quickly spreading, forcing nearby golfers to evacuate as the fire raced toward popular hiking trails.
We found the way down and we got to the road and eventually.
And northern Canada in an emergency.
Oh man, it's going crazy.
Canadian authorities confirming an 80-year-old woman died as a result of the wildfires while trying to evacuate her home. The Bald Range Fire in British Columbia forcing evacuations for more than 20,000 people as flames race toward homes.
That is coming all the way down the mountain right now. Will my farm survive this?
The flames spreading along the highway as residents fled. Officials saying the out-of-control fire has scorched more than 33,000 acres.
Now, the hope is that some of these record-breaking temperatures will dissipate by midweek, but until then, a lot of areas in the west will remain under those extreme heat warnings at least through tonight. Rebecca.
Yeah, and that break can't come soon enough. Okay, Kana, thank you. We're going to go now to the nationwide jalapeno recall. New concern this morning as the USDA issues an alert about some major grocers and meat products that may contain the tainted peppers. Elizabeth Schulze has the latest. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Rebecca. Major grocery stores are now recalling foods with jalapenos that might be tied to that salmonella outbreak. The Agriculture Department says 18 meat and poultry products like wraps, burritos, enchiladas, and salads could contain tainted jalapenos. They were sold at stores including Kroger, H-E-B, Walmart, and Albertsons with use-by dates between August 3rd and 16th. Now, along with that, Taylor Farms, the company linked to the record cyclosporiasis outbreak, tells us that it's recalling additional foods with jalapenos like guacamole and salsa. These products were sold at stores including Target, Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's. Taylor Farms says it's not aware of illnesses tied to the foods at this time. But for example, the recall includes this pico de gallo that was sold at Walmart across multiple states. Walmart says it is moving swiftly to remove the foods. Taylor Farms says it got the jalapenos from West Coast citrus distributors. The FDA, we know, had had already linked that company to the salmonella outbreak. It's made 375 people sick across 27 states. Up until now, we had only been aware of potentially contaminated jalapenos sold at Chipotle, Qdoba, some other restaurants, which removed them. Now this list is clearly expanding. Will.
For sure. That's a lot to keep track of, Elizabeth. Thank you for that. Now to the urgent investigation after a fatal boat incident in New York Harbor. A mother and her infant daughter killed. Matt Rivers is on the scene with the latest. And Matt, the boat captain is now in custody and will face federal charges?
Yeah, that's right, Will, because where this tragedy happened in those waters there just behind me near the Statue of Liberty are under federal jurisdiction. And so as a result, it is federal authorities taking the lead on this investigation.
This morning, a tragedy in New York Harbor, now a criminal investigation after a leisure boat overturned, killing a mother and a young child and injuring a dozen others.
Our New York traffic got a report of an overturned vessel around Buttermilk 1.
The boat capsized late Saturday evening around 10:20 near the Statue of Liberty. First responders rushing to the darkened waters, desperately searching for survivors.
The rescue boats are now on site. They're saying the baby might be underneath the boat.
Officials say 14 people were aboard the 22-foot recreational power vessel, which typically only holds 10 to 12 passengers. The Coast Guard, NYPD, FDNY, and nearby private vessels all joining the frantic rescue mission.
I was just hoping that they would find them safely and alive, and hopefully they're okay and they make it.
27-year-old Sarah Sanchez and her 5-month-old daughter, Antonella Garcia, were transported to the hospital where they were both pronounced dead. The family's neighbors in disbelief.
They were very friendly, very respectful.
Sanchez's husband, Andres Garcia, survived. His employer tells our New York station the couple was on that boat celebrating a friend's birthday. Their 6-year-old son was home with a babysitter. An online fundraising site set up by Garcia's colleagues says the young father must now find the strength to move forward and be there for their son. 12 other passengers were safely rescued and treated for minor injuries. These images showing the moment the boat was pulled from the water. The boat's operator, 46-year-old Manuel Hernandez of Manhattan, arrested at the scene. Investigators are looking into whether the trip may have been operating as an illegal charter.
Now that suspect is in federal custody at this moment. Those federal charges could be coming later today. Robin.
So incredibly sad, Matt. Thank you. Now, the war in Iran and the stalemate over reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Iran refusing to back down. Let's go to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, who's there in Washington. Good morning to you, Mary.
Good morning, Robin. And it was just days ago that President Trump insisted that a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz was imminent. But now this morning, and emboldened, Iran says they will not reopen the critical waterway unless the U.S., quote, corrects its behavior. And Iran is putting out a list of sweeping demands, including calling for the U.S. to lift its naval blockade and sanctions, withdraw U.S. troops from around Iran, reimburse them for the cost of the war, and release frozen Iranian assets, conditions that are seen as non-starters. We are now 5.5 months into this war, and the fate of the Hormuz Strait is still very much a question. Iran, well aware of the power of their stranglehold over the strait as energy prices remain high, they are also likely well aware of reports that this war is taking a real toll on U.S. munitions. Now, Iran says they are exchanging messages with the U.S. through intermediaries, while President Trump told Axios they are, quote, only semi-negotiating with them. Trump saying we are low-keying it. Now, notably, he has not made any new military threats, at least not publicly, instead appearing to focus instead on economic pressures. But the president had said that this latest round of talks would be Iran's last chance to make a deal, and it's not clear what comes next. But the president, Robin, is projecting optimism, saying, quote, it will work out. It always works out. It's like a chess game.
So much back and forth there. And Mary, as you know, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is rejecting President Trump's plan for Hamas to disarm. What more can you share?
Yeah, well, Robin, in a real break with the president, Netanyahu is rejecting Trump's latest Gaza plan. Now, Hamas had agreed to this 15-point plan to disarm as long as Israel withdrew from Gaza first. And when the U.S. brokered this plan at the end of last month, the president told me that Israel was, quote, very happy about it. But now Netanyahu is making clear that is not the case, that they are not on board. He says that they will only withdraw when Hamas disarms first. Robin.
Israel has been very clear about that. All right, Mary, thank you. Now to the death of Tasia Fortune, a 29-year-old woman found hanging from a tree in Mississippi. Her family now speaking out. Faith Abube has the latest for us. Good morning, Faith.
Yeah, good morning to you, Robin. Tasia Fortune's death has alarmed a lot of people, sparking fears about racially motivated murders. Now, police haven't said exactly how she died, but this morning, her mother telling our team that she knows her daughter did not do this to herself.
This morning, growing demands for answers in Mississippi after a 29-year-old mother of 4 was found dead, hanging from a tree.
We're going to press this as far as we can press it until she gets justice.
Tasia Fortune's body was discovered last week behind a vacant house in Jackson. The family telling ABC News the circumstances surrounding her death do not add up.
Tasia loved living life. Like, there's no way that she took her own life.
The Jackson Police Department saying, quote, an active death investigation is underway. They have not named any suspects and declined to comment on local reports that they questioned the father of one of Fortune's children about the death. Court records show Terrence Anderson, who's behind bars on an unrelated weapons charge, lives on the same street block where Fortune's body was found.
No one's blaming Ted or anything like that. You know, we just want answers.
Meanwhile, concern growing in the community and among local leaders given Mississippi's troubling history with lynchings and racially motivated killings. In the last year, Mississippi police have responded to 2 other tree-hanging deaths. Both were ruled suicides. Fortune's family rallying around her young children as they navigate this tragic loss.
She was a good mom, you know. She loved her kids and she loved her family.
And even though Tasia's death has sparked conversation about racially motivated murders, her mother tells our team that she does not want her daughter's name associated with that. There is an autopsy that's pending and should determine whether there was foul play involved in her death. Right now, though, police are urging anyone with information about how this young mother died to step forward. Rebecca.
Yes, as the family said, they just want answers here. Faith, thank you. We go now to the growing water crisis in Puerto Rico as a severe drought has forced water shutoffs for 180,000 customers. And Victor Oquendo is in Puerto Rico with the latest. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Rebecca. These trucks with large tanks of water have become vital lifelines. You see more of them down the street. They are supplying water to this entire area, including those condos that you see there in the distance as the U.S. territory grapples with an extreme drought and failing infrastructure.
This morning, the worsening water crisis in Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican government now forcing communities across the U.S. territory to ration water amid a crippling drought. In San Juan and other cities, hundreds of thousands of residents having their water supply cut off 48 hours at a time. These tankers being used by the government to deliver much needed water throughout the territory. We asked Sonia Maldonado Renta how many times a day she fills these plastic bottles. Morning, noon, and afternoon, all the time. This is unbelievable. We're in a developing country. July was the driest month ever recorded in San Juan in more than 120 years. Roughly 68% of Puerto Rico is now experiencing extreme drought, and there is little relief in sight. The Carraízo Reservoir, the primary drinking source for the city of San Juan, looking depleted. The Puerto Rican National Guard has been working since June to alleviate conditions, distributing over 500,000 gallons of water to residents already. The crisis complicated by decades of decaying infrastructure and a history of natural disasters, including Hurricane Maria in 2017, a storm which killed nearly 3,000 people and devastated the power grid. In 2025, an island-wide power outage. Now, this drought combined with extreme heat and fire dangers.
Several people have told us that they have gone without running water longer than the planned 48-hour period. There is so much frustration here on the island that is once again testing Puerto Ricans' resilience. Guys.
Victor, thank you. We're thinking of our fellow citizens in Puerto Rico.
Yep,
absolutely.
we are.
All right, we're going to switch gears now. We're going to go to the massive Powerball jackpot. There are more than $900 million up for grabs in tonight's drawing, and Sophie Flay is here. She did not appear to bring any money, but she has some news about the lottery.
No cash yet,
okay.
But good morning to you guys. Yeah, the Powerball jackpot is currently standing at the 8th largest in history at $905 million. That's a lot of cash. So let me show you what that physically looks like, well, in graphics, because of course I don't have the cash here. If you stack that money up in $100 bills, that would weigh nearly 10 metric tons, or roughly 2 adult elephants.
Wow.
If you take it in singles, you better get some shipping containers, 28 of them, in fact. That is how many you will need to house all of that cash. But hey, you've got life-changing money, right? Let's spend it. An average movie theater ticket price in the U.S. is $18. If you spent that jackpot on movie tickets, you could see Spider-Man Brand New Day more than 50 million times, Robin. You're laughing, but you could also buy a whole lot of
Would you even have time in life to watch it 50 million times?
No. But hey, you can't win if you don't play.
That's
the next
right.
drawing is tonight, you guys.
We'll see what happens then. Thank you as always,
guys.
Sophie.